Hello everyone, this is Alim Shah. Hope all are doing well. So today's topic is triage in pharmacovigilance. And before I begin the routine disclaimer, so all information what we are going to discuss today is available in Google and publicly available regulatory guidelines and other peer videos and literature abstract. So it's a kind of educational purpose only, and this video does not contain any company specific or any particular client related information. Thank you. Let's jump to the topic. So triage. So before we are going into in very detail about this, is a basic fundamental topic in pharmacovigilance, and it is just for a beginners to understand how the cases are being created in our safety database. And this particular terminology, actually this particular terminology is being derived from, it's a French terminology, so which is meaning is separate out. So it is coming from the terminology trial, which is a French terminology, which is usually represent like separate out. That's how the terminology what we have derived in PV, that is called triage. So here you can say the main purpose here is prioritization. So here the main purpose is prioritization. Here the triage in our PV, in our PV field, what we call is like sorting out informations according to the quality and information available, whatever the information whatever we have that is available, and about importance. So based on that, whatever the case coming to us, based on the available, the quality of the information and the information which is available, whatever the amount of information, whatever we it is available with us, what is the important of that information. Based on that, usually the cases are being given importance as a prioritization. So this is the whole concept. As an example, everyone whoever listening probably all are from healthcare professionals, so you could able to easily correlate with the real-time scenario. Whenever we are going to an hospital, we know about in hospital there is a emergency department. So in emergency department, usually whenever the patients are whenever the patients are coming into very serious conditions, in each and every department there is a triage is being happening. So in our department in hospitals, usually whenever there is a patient is being brought to the hospital, so it is being triaged by the senior medical nurse or medical doctor. Usually they will perform a triage process in the hospital. According to that, they may give a red card or orange card or green card or yellow card. So like that the patients are being segregated. For example, if a patient is coming with cardiac arrest, as well as another patient is coming with minor trauma or any other convulsion, so like that many patients would come to an emergency room. So as a medical doctor or from the medical department team, the triage team in the hospital, they will decide there might be in some situations the availability of one bed or two beds, only two bed would be available. So there are 2-3 patients are coming at the time. It is more important to understand their medical condition and the importance of how fast the patient has to be attended. Some of the patients can able to treat at the preliminary first aid. If they perform some of the first aid, the patient could able to tolerate for another day, or they could able to understand for a couple of hours. So those patients would be the card would be given accordingly, and the patients would be segregated accordingly. For the cardiac arrest or heart attack, myocardial infarction, those patients would give first important, and all the medical importance would be given. Compared to the minor trauma cases, they would be given a medical attention. Parallelly, the other patients also would be given equal importance, and it should be treated. So this example why I gave here is to give the more attention, which is priority. So here the priority coming into the picture, and the timeline, and it is very crucial time. Some of the patients may have couple of minutes, so immediately that medical attention to be fulfilled in order to survive that patient health condition. So this is an example. The same formula or the same type of approach we do have also in our PV field. That's how that triage team form, and the triage team performs their routine pharmacovigilance activities. Yeah, so in our PV triage department, so usually we call them as a reception. So for whatever the cases are coming, first they need to come and park that particular case here. So that is called triage department. We can call it them as a reception. So here usually some of the company, they may call like booking cases also. So the cases usually will come from two sources mainly, like solicited or unsolicited. So usually the solicited, the definition means, to understand better, it is a structured program where they would have a structured program. So in solicited, as an example, like you can say, the cases may come from clinical trials or any programs. If the marketing authorization holder, if they conduct some kind of programs, so patient support program, or so if they are conducting, so the cases may come from some compassionate use program, or patient support program, or patient oriented program, or so. So it is a structured source where they may have already know, they might be having a design protocol where the cases may arise, and they may come for case creation. So that's how it will come from this particular source. And unsolicited source, this is usually from literature or from spontaneous cases. So here cases are getting segregated this way. Okay. So this is how the cases may come from the different department. I apologize, there is the background sound, I got a bit deviated, sorry. So whenever there is a case come to for booking, that is a triage team, that is first important point what they will do. These are just a take home message for understanding purpose. First, stamping of the cases, that is stamping of that particular cases. So the date of receipt, here they can call as date of receipt. So they will seal, this is the any manufacturer, if they come to know about the information, anyone, any employee from the marketing authorization holder, if they come to know about any adverse drug reaction, that would be called as date of receipt. That information they will clock it as date of receipt. And here the clock starts actually. So in PV everything is time bounding, so here they will call it as day 0. So the clock start for the marketing authorization holder to report this particular event, particular obnoxious unintended responses for the drug to the regulatory authority. So in this triage team, immediately as soon as the information comes to them, first they will stamp, that is the date of receipt by the manufacturer, that would be sealed. The second thing what they will perform is duplicate search. So it has to perform the duplicate search. There are some safety database where all the cases are being entered. So regarding the safety database, we will talk in a in a separate video as well. So safety database, usually some of the safety database that is very famous, often used by all the companies, or so like this PVNet. So there were so many databases are being used, like Argus, RSG, Reva, and PVNet, and like that safety databases. They it is being used across marketing authorization holder. So the duplicate search is the another important point. So if the case is already existing, so they will take that case in a different way. If it is a new case, then again the preliminary data entry, the basic details of the patients would be entered in the particular database. So once the case comes, first they will acknowledge that is the date of receipt, then immediately they will cross check with the details by putting into some of the basic data entry they will perform, and they will cross check is this case or the same case is already existing by in our database. So that would be performed. Based on this, why they are performing this activity, and they are performing this activity, and in order to prioritization, again as we said, the hospital example, they have to perform a prioritization, because here the date 0 already started. So they have to prioritize this case based on to meet the regulatory timelines. So they have to prioritize this particular case. How they will prioritize? First they will check whether this particular case is valid case or non-valid case. So any case has to report it to the health authority. There are 4 minimum criteria, as you are already aware. That is the patient, product, what is the particular product, and there should be a event, and there should be a reporter. So these are all the 4 criteria to be met in order to become that particular case to become a valid case. So they will cross check the valid whether it is a valid case or non-valid case, and they would perform they would cross check the seriousness and expectedness and relatedness. This is very important point in order to perform a triage, in order to prioritization. So this is very important. Then only they could able to meet the regulatory timeline. Here I would say the timeline, like timelines usually 7 days, 15 days, 90 days. Whenever in PV, if they are using just the word days, it means always it should be a calendar days, unless until they themselves specifying as business days, or if they mention as working days, all should be considered as calendar days. Yeah. So usually if the cases are there might be 2 types of cases may happen, like serious cases or non-serious cases. If the serious case criteria, if they meet, again they will check whether if it is a death or life-threatening case, then they have to perform the 7 calendar days timeline. Apart from death and life-threatening, there are some serious criteria, like hospitalization, prolonged hospitalization, prolonged hospitalization, or any other congenital anomaly. So those cases, so other medically important, other seriousness cases, if they come, so usually that would fall on in 15 calendar days timeline, and the non-serious cases usually they will fall under 90 calendar days timeline. So this is some basic information about the information. We can go to what is serious, what is non-serious, and how the seriousness what about seriousness, how the expectedness would be checked, what is mean by relatedness. So those things would come with, in subsequent educational videos. So here in this triage topic, what I would like to convey the basic take home message. This and all, this is a very vast topic, and in a nutshell, if you wanted to understand about the triage, just understand few points here. The take home message. So whatever we have gone through, last 15 minutes of this understanding, the take home message is, any person in PV, if he or she is working in triage department, it's like prioritization. So prioritization is the main important. So why they are prioritizing the cases? To meet the timelines. Here the timelines means not only the regulatory timelines. Here the triage team, based on this triage team's the quality and the fastness, the internal timelines also to be met. So once the case is being valid case, if it is performing, it is eligible to get to the submitting to the regulatory authority, and there are timelines bound here, as well as the internal timelines also to be met. Here the internal timelines also to be met in order to meet the regulatory timeline. That's the reason this team is playing a very vital role in our PV field. And the third point is this, I could say SER, seriousness, expectedness, relatedness. These are all the points what you can remember out of this 15 minutes video. Whenever someone calls about triage, so you can think about timeline, prioritization. These are all the basic fundamental things. But the heart of this entire session is about here. Based on this, everything would be decided. Based on the seriousness, based on the expectedness, based on the relatedness. So the take home message of this session is SER, seriousness, expectedness, relatedness. There is a team where they are performing this SER, SIR. So if they are performing the SIR in order to meet the timeline. So that's all about in this video. Thank you, and we can meet in the next video with some other good content. Thank you everyone.